Welcome to another episode of 5th Edition Dungeons & Dragons Fate of Simarin, a campaign adventure created and brought to you by HellFirePvP, the Dungeon Master Extraordinaire at the end there.
Hi.
And special thanks to Steve Sketches over on ArtStation for letting us use the asset that is representing Hellfire's Tentacle Madness. So, let's do some introductions. We'll do a recap, and then we'll jump right into the adventure. As I mentioned, at the end, we've got HellFirePvP.
Hi, I am the DM for today, and yeah, let's see how much mess you guys can create.
I like that you like for the day. Next time, there might be someone else. No. All right. No. And then just down and to the left of Hellfire, we have Nerevar.
Yeah, that's me. And I'll be playing as Quilby, a quirky goblin bard who is, let's say, on the loose.
And then next to him, we have Lyssa.
That's me. I'm playing Sarren. I am a Furrow Bog Druid. And we have a secret bard in our midst. We're going to find all his secrets.
Turns out Sarren takes a level of bard. It's me!
I'm the secret bard.
And then we've got Kashcah.
Yep, hi, I am playing Giya, a total barbarian.
And
who has yet to rage.
Who has yet to rage, yes. We're on episode 9 and no raging. Are you sure you're a barbarian? And then myself, I'm Vallen. I'll be playing as Celes, a half-orc Eldritch Knight fighter, with her familiar Luna, a typically seen as a snow owl. And let's do the recap. We got a lot in the recap. So, last episode, we turned ourselves into the hand members that arrived to the scene. We were then we were attacked by several assassins that were apparently trying to stab and or otherwise end Quilby's existence. We were then taken to the Hand HQ and interrogated and eventually let go. Quilby revealed that he had enemies from his homeland country that apparently held a grudge after he had killed some nobles in a fireworks accident. These were some of them sent after us as assassins, and they happen to have triangles crossed with arrows for badges. Celes wrote her name in the Book of Dreams, which is what I'm going to be calling it at this point. It was then revealed that the book would give some meaningful information about who or what was written in the book, but it seemed to only work for Celes. Her deity was displayed for herself. The cursed amulet was displayed for Furnace. The party decided to move on in pursuit of their original contract to find Furnace. This left them to question Nellis, the magic shopkeeper, again. Nellis had her name entered into the Book of Dreams and had a wooden branch with a bird's tail on it, and its tail curled around it with massive wings. This seemed to have significance to a scholar of Nebith. They also found that Nellis was being protected by the Ivoryfield Trade Group, and therefore the group lost faith in her being a reliable source. It was decided to have Celes identify items going forward, and the group invested in a foci for Celes to learn about things that were found. This required another shop visit across the way to an elf named Meneely, who ran a moss-covered Shop of Wonders. I don't know why I wrote Chop of Wonders, but Shop of Wonders and general
close enough
paraphernalia. Once equipped, the group informed the Hand and moved out of the now possibly hostile city to pursue a lead at the ruins on the northeast coast by Galea that Furnace had investigated shortly before he went missing. They found a strangely lit stone in a location of significance along the path, but to what they couldn't determine. Continuing on, the party came upon Galea. Take it away, Hellfire.
All right. So you're now on. You're still like a bit far away, but you can already see some of the buildings at a distance. You're kind of like a bit up on top of a hill and are now kind of making your way downwards towards the, well, kind of like small village, not even quite town, you feel like.
Mm-hmm.
And as you get closer, you notice that now that it gets into view, that a large majority of the buildings seem to be damaged in some way. You can you can see a little bit of smoke rising up out from some of the buildings, as well as the ones closest to you. You can definitely see things that look like burn marks. So things might have burned, or caused such damage in other ways. As you continue to get closer, you do notice that occasionally there is someone wandering about. So there seems to be there are people in the town, in the city or town rather. But from a glance now, it doesn't look like there's a lot going on. And now that you're getting closer as well, you do notice that it's not just on the outer side of the town. Even the few buildings towards the center are also quite heavily damaged. As you get into the perimeter of the town, you are quickly greeted by a guard that is walking up to you. And hold on a second.
I take it that the smoke that we saw rising up was not necessarily coming from chimneys.
You don't think so.
Okay.
Okay. A guard kind of walks up to you and says, "What is your business? Hello. This is off limits for civilians. Please turn back."
I just look.
What
I'm
is your
like, bad
business?
time.
Well, look around yourself. We are not exactly in a great position. So, who are you? What is your business?
And Celes produces the badge of the hand and says, "We're here on official business investigating missing persons."
And as you kind of show the badge, he kind of rightens his posture and says, how can we be of service?
Have you heard of a person by the name of Furnace who's in charge of teleportation circles?
I myself am not, but maybe you can inquire Baron, our general here, about the situation.
His name is Baron?
Yep.
Okay. I wasn't sure if that was his rank. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah.
He's a royalty rank. Keep him
Yeah.
away from Quilby.
Yeah, I'm like, well,
There we go.
maybe that still is his rank. Maybe he's a Baron.
Oh yeah. You just don't know yet.
It would be another way of being a barbar. I guess.
What if he's a barbarian as well as a baron?
Oh my god, a barbar.
Oh my God.
The options. Okay.
Sorry, that just caught me. So, Celes would then proceed with like official business talk and just be like, "What's happened to this hamlet? Has it come under attack?"
Well, unfortunately, we are experiencing regular attacks or incidents with creatures that came from the Deadlands and wreak havoc on the general vicinity.
Do they seem to be coming from the north, which I'm guessing is actually just up on this map?
Yeah, up is generally north.
Okay, I don't know. Yeah, I've seen weird things.
Yes. These incidents have mounted in the recent times. So we are currently stationed here to provide what's what little security we can provide to the civilians.
Where can we find Baron?
And he points further into the town and says, he should be usually near the marketplace, or what's left of it.
Okay. Any other things we should know before entering the village so that we don't make things worse?
Well, be on your guard. While we do regularly patrol, we cannot ensure your full safety.
Okay. Did he just say that they do a patrol to keep people safe, basically?
That's what it sounded like.
Okay. Doesn't sound like he's giving us an escort or something, right? Just
doesn't look like it.
Okay, good. Then she'll say thank you, and she'll just start walking past him.
Okay.
Don't know if anybody follows.
Yes, I follow.
Okay. Yeah, you kind of walk past him, and he proceeds to go to the left alongside one building on the other side of the town. As you move further into town, you do notice there aren't a lot of people around. You occasionally see someone in a building trying to, well, seemingly pick up things and reorganize stuff or clean up. You do occasionally see one or the other guard walking by, and they kind of like occasionally look you over, but seem to recognize fairly quickly that you are well capable of defending yourself. So you kind of get closer towards the center of town.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of see a lot of ruined small shacks that were potentially previously kind of like small market stands. The buildings directly facing the central place kind of got burn marks pretty much on all the front sides. And give me a second. I'm just gonna fill all over here. So you've kind of arrived to sort of central place. And you can see in not too far off seems to be one person that seems to be delegating another person around, and points into to the west, like to the left.
Mm-hmm.
And seems to be explaining something.
Taking it that would be this person.
Yeah.
And they're talking to someone?
Yeah, don't have a token for it.
No, it's all right. So I guess I just start heading towards them.
Okay. As they kind of like basically direct the other person away, they quickly turn around and notice you, and kind of start approaching as you are moving closer towards them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just the notes here.
I'm just waiting for him to like produce a spear and charge me or something.
Yeah, he walks towards you and says, "Hello. I haven't seen you here. Who are you?"
And she'd introduce herself as Celes of the Order of Cattell. Just here on hand business, and
all right.
Just wondering what's happened to this hamlet.
Well, nice to meet you, I suppose. Name's Baron.
Actually, yeah, she would be asking if he was Baron too. Sorry.
He says, "I'm currently in charge of the operations, and so what is your business here?"
We're looking for missing persons. We weren't anticipating the town to be in ruins. Is there immediate threat?
Well, not currently, though there was not too long ago, unfortunately. We are dealing with repetitive incidents of creatures kind of spreading from the north, unfortunately. Well, you said you're looking for someone.
Yes.
Do you know where, like, are they supposed to be here?
It's a possibility. This missing person, they go by the name of Furnace. They specialize in teleportation circles. And
Oh, it's one of the guides.
yes. In fact, they were last seen in one of the towns south of here, but they were last known to have explored some ruins near here on the coast that recently discovered, and almost immediately before he went missing. So we came investigating further.
Well, that's at least better than what have happened to our member of the Guide Society who was murdered in his sleep. Well,
Was that by some of the monsters, or was that foul play?
no, we aren't sure. I was stationed. Wait a second. Just looking stuff up. Yes, I was stationed at the fort when he was seemingly murdered overnight. We haven't found who did it, or at least not while I was still there. So I'm unfortunately can't provide you much more information than that. But you got a lead on someone, so guess you're headed somewhere then?
We were told that there are ruins near here on the northeast coast. Do you have any information about that? And she interrupts herself at that point and says, "But forgive me, I'm all business here. Let me introduce you to the rest of our group." And she proceeds to, introduce Giya and Sarren and Quilby.
Yeah, and I'll kind of step forward.
She says, "We're all members of the Hand and in on."
Put out like a big chunky turtle hand to shake Baron's hand.
Yeah, and he tries to shake yours as good as he can. All right. And after that, he kind of says, "Indeed, there are ruins to the east of here. So you suspect he might have gone there for some time ago?"
All right. That's likely where our business will take us, but can you tell us more of these monster attacks? I would like to know more about them, since we're in obviously a threatened area.
And he says, "Well, look around you. Unfortunately, this was one of the larger problems we had to deal with.
Giya says,
And he,
what was it?
oh, this." And he points somewhat to behind him, and kind of like up the street, kind of. It is, well, it seems to have one bird has mutated and corrupted and seemed to have grown larger and larger, and has then laid waste on the town.
So you're fighting corrupted creatures of enormous size.
Well, and he kind of like spreads his arms and says, "As you know, this world, or we all are constantly being fed by damn it, I wrote this phrase down somewhere. Okay, I can't find it now, so I'm just gonna make something up. as you know, we are kind of permeated through magical means. And he points towards you. You, as someone from the Order of Kotel, should know. We all are constantly feeding off this magical essence. Unfortunately, in the Deadlands, this essence is no longer present for one reason or another. And that brings forth all kinds of creatures and mutations of whoever or whatever steps into these lands. It's our duty to keep the civilians safe from this, though that threat has just risen in the last couple of months.
It would seem the efforts to try and keep this hamlet alive was not quite as effective as just turning it into a military outpost at this point. Are there many civilians left here? I would imagine they probably would have left.
We've taken measures to evacuate most of the civilians, yes. And it is not my decision of what becomes of this town. So I'm just following orders as long as it takes, or as long as we can stand.
Can you tell me, have you...
At this point,
oh, yeah.
Through the ear is a very loud shrieking sound.
I just look around. I'm like, what is that? Like, I just like run over by Giya and Celes. I'm like, what was that?
And
I grab my mom.
Baron turns around and says, "Well, seems like we've got company." And he kind of moves over towards the side and blows into a small whistle he has by his side. And you can see from the left, from pretty much around the marketplace, several guards kind of follow, seemingly him whistling kind of loudly. Just kind of before you hear another very loud kind of. I think that was a convincing impression.
I'm convinced.
Another very, very loud shriek. And at this point, kind of like from the side are two kind of guards with two, each of them having a crossbow in hand from the side, as well as kind of like two from the right side, and kind of position themselves and look through the sky, trying to see something.
I'm doing the same.
Me too.
I'm just nervously looking around.
And it takes a couple seconds until you can hear the large beating of wings.
I'm gonna move over here.
Okay. And
I'm gonna move
you
over
can
here.
then see from behind the buildings, just over where Baron pointed previously, two very large, kind of blackened, dark wings emerge, as well as one very small body, almost reminiscent of a kind of eagle-ish shape, but way larger. And just trying to organize.
I've actually taken Luna off my shoulder, and I've got her like under my left arm right now. I don't want her to fly off. And I'm setting her on the ground, like close by me.
And it kind of turns around and seems to have kind of like almost looked down or kind of flown over where Baron previously pointed to. So yeah, and seems to now be heading in your direction or in your general direction. And it's probably like a bit off to the side there, but I'm just moving it here.
Fair enough.
And so yeah, I think we should roll initiative.
Okie dokie.
Going to... Okay.
What?
Oh boy. Here we go. All right. As well as I'm gonna roll one initiative for all of the guys because I don't wanna like.
Oh yeah, group
Make them
tactics for a DM is that's a smart thing.
Yeah, I just gotta bring this up. Where? Right. Oh boy,
Nice.
that is not bad.
This isn't their first rodeo.
Certainly seems like it. All right. I'm gonna move this just one up.
Did you
beyond
just
there.
close initiative order?
Did I just?
Oh, there it is. Thank you.
My bad. Sorry. Didn't want to confuse anyone. All right. You can kind of like see it now around the corner and almost swoop in a bit. So it's probably still 30 to 40 feet up. And seems to kind of descend very quickly in your general direction. So,
And it's still off the map, right?
well, it's still kind of like off the map. I would probably put it like, yeah, somewhere there right now.
Okay.
Fine. Okay, Quilby. This very large flying, it's like bird type of thing.
It wants to be friends.
Yeah.
Do I see? Can I see exactly what it is?
Well, from what you can currently see, it seems to be one very much like oversized bird. Or just, yeah.
It's a Pidgey. Giant Pidgey.
It's hard. It's really kind of like hard to tell because most of its features are pretty black, and yeah. What do you intend to do?
I don't have any ranged weapon.
You can wait until it gets closer, or hold your action.
Yeah, I'll hold my action until it gets closer.
Okay. Right.
I just try to stay vigilant.
What do you like? What are you waiting for? Just when it gets closer to do?
Let's say, where is it? Let's say it will be in the 60 feet radius.
Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. So it is the guard's turn. So they already attack? I think they are too far away still. 40. Well, 35 times 40 and like kind of calculate the diagonal. I think they're but these two are gonna try. They're gonna move up a bit closer and prop themselves up against a bit of debris, and each of them attempt to take a shot with their crossbows.
Pew pew.
Pretty much, yeah. And they 11 and 12, and that does not hit in both cases. And he seems to kind of take a step back and kind of like bring up his shield and stand at the ready. And yeah, both of these are just gonna stay kind of like, this one is gonna move to the right, and this one kind of here, kind of circling around Quilby and trying to take a little bit of cover against the still standing wooden wall there. Okay. Giya.
So is it on like a downward trajectory?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so hang on one sec, I want to measure a thing. Okay. So I'm going to run over here. Hang on. I want to. How far is that? It's like 25 feet. Okay. So I'm going to run over there and I'm gonna probably let's try a rage. And yeah, so I'm gonna do that. I just hold my maul above my head, and like tip my turtle face to the sky, and just let out this roar, and yeah. And then I'm gonna use the rest of my movement to kind of take a step closer over there.
Okay.
So I'm gonna roll my d8 though.
Bum, bum, bum.
What was that, an 8?
Ooh.
Oh, okay. So this
a beam of brilliant light lances from your chest in a 5 foot wide, 60 foot long line. Each creature in the line must succeed on a Constitution saving throw or take 2d8 radiant damage and be blinded until the start of your next turn. That is a good question. Is this is like 20 and kind of like 30 to 40 feet up, so it would probably just barely reach. So what does it have to con save against?
hang on. I have my DC set up. Crap. That would have been helpful, huh? 1 moment, caller. Let me
Sure.
So
okay,
you're
DC
trying...
is 8 plus my proficiency bonus plus my con modifier. So 8 plus 2 plus 2, so 12.
Okay.
It's the DC. Not particularly high. Especially not when you roll. Okay.
Does it still take damage?
Doesn't really say that it
Nope.
does. It says
It,
or
suc-
take.
it succeeds,
Yeah.
it doesn't.
Yep, so it doesn't take any damage. And it's definitely not blinded. That's okay.
Okay.
Mad as hell.
So you just like
Alright.
did a rage bolt at it in a way?
Yes.
Rage
It's like a
bolting.
rage Hadouken. I don't know.
Okay.
Not really a Hadouken, though. It's like a
Sarren, you saw Giya run forward in a bellowing rage and roar and shooting some lasers. Or a laser.
Yay, laser turtle.
Oh god.
Let's see here. I guess I'm gonna run up. I'll run up beside her.
Okay.
And I will. I'll shoot them with the ice knife at level.
Hmm.
Alright.
Didn't it
This
give
should-
me the.
Oh, DC 14. I was like, wait, what am I supposed to completely missed that. Yeah, it has.
There. Doesn't include my attack roll in it. I don't know why.
Oh, is it an attack or is it a save? No.
If it hits it, then let's see.
Oh,
it's
right,
a-
if
yeah,
it's-
on
yeah.
hit, target takes 1d10 piercing.
It's one of those few ones that it's both.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Yeah.
It's kind of a dick move, Wizards of the Coast. I'm just saying.
A 12 unfortunately does not hit.
Okay. And luckily, nobody's within 5 feet around that area because they would get shattered. They would get pelted with ice shards. Okay. I think that's all I got for now.
All right. So it is now the creature's turn.
No.
I'm like jumping up and down. Pick me! Pick me! Pick me!
Put me in the game, coach.
And seeing as there were now multiple attacks being thrown at it, the most bright or, well, seemingly most threatening came from the radiant beam. So it swoops down on straight down towards Giya and Sarren, and attacks both of you each individually with one of its talents.
Sorry, Sarren.
I mean, I flung ice at it.
And that one is against Giya. Ouch.
What about my hold action?
Oh, is it in?
Hmm.
Ooh, yeah, it's good. Oh, yeah. So you gotta do first. Sorry.
I'm gonna cast Fairy Fire as it reaches the 60 feet.
I think 60 feet is off the map. Just
It's also a bit up, so like
Oh,
it
yeah,
came
yeah.
up kind of
Okay.
diagonally down, so you could probably cast it somewhere in the air and yeah, potentially not hit you and Sarren.
Potentially.
So
That's
dex-
okay. I wanted it to come to us in one spot.
So it needs to make a dexterity save.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I'm rolling really well.
yeah, you are.
Unfortunately, it's not getting
not-
purchase on the entity.
Not affected.
Not affected, it seems.
There is no stopping Big Bird.
Okay.
3.
But I already rolled for the attack on Giya.
Yep.
So
It-
that
Me completely. You rolled it. You just didn't see it up there.
I did already make the attack. So.
It's true.
Yeah, a couple of 1s really sucks.
Oh no, all these
A
ones.
2 and a 0. I don't know.
A 2 and a 0.
I don't know how you managed to roll a 0.
So that gets multiplied by 2, and the other one does not. So that is 12 points of slashing damage divided by 2 because you're
I'm
Rage.
raging.
rage stuffing.
Hmm.
And 1 against Sarren.
Oh, I missed.
Yep, it seems to be very, very focused on Giya.
I just give you a thumbs up.
She's like got bloody face.
Bloody screen. So real.
And
She's got like big old black eye.
and it then proceeds on to fly up again.
Oh,
What?
sneaky.
Can I have an attack of opportunity, please?
You would,
Right.
however, it has the trait flyby,
Yep. Luna has the same
so
trait.
it doesn't provoke opportunity attacks when it
Rude.
gets out of reach.
Rude.
So rude.
Okay, so it's now again probably about 10 to 15 feet above where it's like currently on the map.
Okay.
Okay. Also, these two crossbowmen here have held their attacks with their crossbows until the creature got closer. So they will try to attack it. A
Oh.
15 and an 18. So they both hit.
They're both about to be picked up, so.
I dropped from a great height.
Right. And they. I have to switch between so many things now. I have to really organize this. And the first one, 8.
They're good
Second
shots.
one, 3. A total of 11 piercing damage. All right. That concludes that. And Celes. Up.
She's gonna run right underneath it.
Sure.
Leaving Luna there. And she's gonna swipe at it with her glaive because she's got reach.
Yeah, I can probably let you kind of jump a little bit and then
Yep.
reach.
But I'm gonna kind of roleplay the thing that I don't think she's gonna be able to hit it with the butt of the weapon. I think she's just gonna be able to do like the regular swing attack on it. So, like with the
Yeah.
sharp end of the stick, so to say. And that was. I rolled a 2. I'm gonna re-roll that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, oh no, wait, that's a to hit. I don't get to re-roll the to hits. I get to re-roll the damage.
damage.
Sorry, my bad.
It seems very, very quick.
Yep.
So as you've kind of like wanted to slice at it, it already poof kind of went out of your reach again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's all she's doing.
Okay. Is Luna going to do anything?
Luna stays down and just kind of is on the ground next to this thing, kind of taking shelter, but also watching where the bird is. That's it.
Okay. All right. That brings us to Quilby.
It's coming right for you.
No.
I'm gonna use vicious mockery.
Sure.
I'm going to pop my head out of this. Is this fence or is this wall? I just can't tell.
It's both.
It's everything.
It's a fence wall.
Okay, I'm just sticking my head over the rubble and. Let me think. Get out of here, you oversized pigeon.
Yep, I'm gonna make that count. Doesn't seem to be such a big fan of it though. I don't think a 17.
Yeah, it succeeds.
Yeah.
It's a very resilient bird so far. Only
Yeah.
susceptible to crossbow bolts.
Yeah, do you wanna move or stay where you are?
I stay where I am.
All right.
I don't want to be picked up by this thing.
Okay, so the two guards next to you take another round of shots against the creature. That is a 15 and a 5. One of them hits. And deals 2 points of damage.
Crossbow. Telling you.
Yeah, they are well equipped to deal with this kind of stuff.
Super effective.
And the two over here gonna move a bit closer and each take their shots. That is a 13 and a 7, and both of their bolts kind of seemingly go wide. And Baron kind of shifts focus and puts his attention towards the bird having kind of circled around a bit. Okay. Giya.
Celes, how strong are you?
Pretty strong. I'm as strong as what if I was a 1 to 18 scale, I'd say I'm an 18.
Ooh, okay. So I'm gonna. I don't know if this would be allowed. I'm considering yelling over to Celes to give me a leg up.
Troll me.
But I don't know if that.
I didn't take a
require-
bonus action, but otherwise, that sounds like
yeah,
a
but
full
I'd
action.
probably say you may.
I would like to make
probably allow that if you and Giya both sacrifice your bonus actions.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. And I'm gonna need so you're gonna run over to Celes and ask her to kind of help you up.
Yep. Yeah, I'm gonna yell at her from here. Celes, give me a boost. And I'm kind of hoping that she'll
She'll drop the glaive on hearing you say this, seeing you running towards her.
And
I'm gonna
go.
I'm gonna need an athletics check from Celes.
Oh yeah.
Trying to throw
A turtle.
the turtle, and yeah.
And
So
what I'm
it's
looking
Giya
for is
kind of-
just a hoist in the air, like just to like give me an extra boost to my jump, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm basically I want to hit this thing with my maul, like from this boost that Celes gives me.
You just want to hit it?
I mean, I thought about grappling it, but it looks pretty strong too, and it's pretty tempting though. Oh, do I get? Hang on.
Is that what you're doing? Hanging on.
I mean, I don't think.
Down.
Oh, I do have advantage on strength checks.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Then I will try to grab onto it.
Oh boy, here we go.
Shenanigans. All right, so I'm like, Celes, give me a boost, and I'm boom, boom, boom over there, and then, yeah, I'm gonna try and like, around some part of this burb and try and bring it to the ground.
Okay. So, I will need you to make an athletics check trying to grapple it.
You can do it.
And it can make an athletics or acrobatics trying to dodge whatever you're up to.
Ooh.
It fails. It probably cannot fly anymore after you've grappled it. But I just want to make sure.
Oh, right. Yeah, gotcha. How big is the bird? What size category is it?
It looks large.
Yeah, it is definitely on the larger side of large.
Cool.
Uh,
Actually, you're a turtle. You count as for strength checks. You count as large or something, don't you?
Sure.
yeah, it falls.
Nice.
So
Very
you kind of run up and leap with the help of Celes, make it up to the bird and kind of drag it down, and you're now like it's gonna fall on its turn, but you're now I'm not sure how to move this. I'm probably gonna move the bird a bit. Now grappling and holding on to this somewhat black darkened bird.
So you jumped up and you nabbed one of its wings. Good thump.
Just flies in circles.
Okay. So that is your turn. I
Oh
think
yeah,
it.
That was impressive.
Sarren.
It's now on the ground, right?
It is not yet on the ground. It's gonna be on the ground in
Oh,
the
right.
next kind of second.
It's like on its way.
It's on its way.
Incoming!
Please wait a moment while falling commences.
While speed
Just a loading
descend.
bar up above it, buffering.
It's just buffering.
Let's see, what can I do? Needs to get closer so I can hit it.
You can ready, or you can kind of hold your action until it's falling and has fallen.
Yeah,
Or hold your attack, so to speak.
yeah, I'm gonna hold. I'm gonna, I guess, I'm gonna use Shillelagh. Do I need, and it's a cantrip to cast it and then hold the action, I guess.
Yeah, because that's just a bonus action to cast that, right?
Yeah, it's a cantrip. So yeah, I'm gonna pull out my staff. I'm gonna stomp, pound it on the ground and cast Shillelagh on it and wait for it. You see me licking my lips. Come down here, bird.
Bird.
When it lands, as soon as it gets within range of my melee range, I'm gonna whack it.
Okay. First of all, the bird is gonna fall, and it's definitely gonna fall at least 10 feet. So it's gonna take 3 points of bludgeoning damage falling to the ground, as well as you, Giya.
Okay. Do we both take the same, or I take a different d6?
We both take the same, but you only take the after rage stuff.
Are we
Because
rounding up or rounding down?
Hmm?
Are we
I think we
rounding?
round it down.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so you may attack now, Sarren. That is definitely gonna hit.
Schmack.
Take my 4 points of damage, damn you.
Go for the eyes.
Evil bird.
Go for the eyes, Sarren.
Right? Just stabbing it everywhere. One to the beak, a couple to the eye, one to the gut.
By the way, Lyssa, you actually hit better than that for Shillelagh. You get to add in whatever your spellcasting modifier is as well.
Not add in. I'm gonna have to fix my card.
Yep. It was still enough, but I wanted to mention it probably later.
Okay, yeah, I'll fix it.
Still 4 magic damage. That's good.
Yeah. Ready. Okay. Being brought down to the ground, it's gonna let out a very loud and shrieking noise once more. And I'm gonna need everyone's nearby. I'm gonna need everyone to make a Of course, I remember what this was. A wisdom saving throw, please.
That first one was for Luna. Which actually, I don't know why I was doing it at disadvantage. Or at advantage. I don't know why she was. Oh, for perception checks, that's why. Let me redo. Oh, actually, yeah. It's a 6 for Luna. And then...
Oh boy.
You said wisdom for Celes. Celes is 8. There you go.
Quite some interesting rules.
My sensitive frobog ears.
The first one was for Luna?
It was. And it's a 6, it's not the 19. She only gets advantage on wisdom perception rolls.
Vallen, Luna and Nerevar are both considered frightened from the creature. So you have, you're frightened from the creature, so you have disadvantage on ability checks and attack rolls, and you can't willingly move closer.
Okay.
And it is going to turn with kind of Giya clamped around its wings. It's gonna turn toward facing Celes and Sarren, and debating if it's gonna reach this guy or not. No, it's probably not gonna reach this guy. And it's gonna kind of like open its beak, and from it shoots forth a line of green liquid, and it sprays forth, covering both Celes and Sarren, and just falling short before the guy over there.
I use a reaction to cast Absorb Elements.
Turn. Sure. It is acid damage. And I will need you and Sarren and strictly speaking also Giya, because you're also in the general range.
Okay.
to make me a dexterity saving throw.
And that is why I cast Absorb Elements.
Sarren makes it. Giya and Vallen do not. And you both take... what was it again? Oh, it's 2. You take 21 points of acid damage. And Sarren takes half that. So Sarren takes 10.
So I take half, right?
Yeah, you have resistance against it.
So that's 11 points of damage.
10.
10. Okay.
Okay. That is the bird's turn. Bird. Celes.
She's not happy. She's happy that she cast the absorb spell. But she's, instead of taking the time to pick up the glaive, she's just going to react with her her hand axe and try attacking it with that. As it's right there in front of her, and she gets disadvantage, I believe. So let's do this.
Attack.
And it's a nat 1, so she misses.
1. And you kind of sacrificed your bonus action for helping Giya bring down the bird.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
Luna is very afraid of the bigger bird, seeing that it is a smaller bird.
Mm-hmm. She's just gonna kind of doop doop doop, do a couple hops and move further behind the wall. No need to see it anymore. Just stay out of sight.
Yep.
Do we get
Quilby.
saves at the end of our turns or anything like that, or is that just until you tell us later? For the
it has a duration.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Quilby. Shock and horror. This bird is really large, and it just let out a very seemingly devastating spray of acid. You're pretty afraid of it.
Mm-hmm.
What do you intend to do?
I am that fast. I'm not that fast.
I can hear the bird squeaking in the
Yeah, I can
background.
hear the bird.
Surreal. My immersion.
What are we gonna do?
I'm thinking, I'm panicking, hang on.
Run away!
Just ducking behind, like behind this kind of wooden board is probably gonna give you half cover.
I know that, but I cannot get closer to it.
Yeah.
You don't want to be closer to it.
You really don't want to be close.
we're all close to it. We don't want to be close to it.
Alright, I can let it go. Should I just let it go?
Can you pin it?
Oh boy.
Just
jam it in the well.
I have an idea, but I'm not sure how I will be able to play it out while under fear.
Just try it. See, the bird also gives you inquiry. What do you want to do?
I want to use silent image.
Okay.
I'm not sure what I want, what I should do with it.
Possibilities are infinite.
Yeah. When in doubt, there is also the option to panic for a round.
Yep. It is a role-playing game.
You can panic.
Can I fight off the fear now? No, I cannot. Dude, if I won't be able with under fear condition, that would be such amazing play.
You can, like, what do you want to do? You can still do it. It's just.
I want to create a lure with, not a lure, but something much bigger than this bird to just to scare it off.
I mean, can still do that. I'm also not sure how far the bird is gonna get being grappled at the moment.
Think about the creature that could fend off this bird. I use silent image to create a dragon. No. that will be too obvious.
Well, try something or we're gonna move on, cause like.
Okay, I'm creating silent image of an ogre somewhere in this area. And I'll make him kind of looking very intimidating.
It's a really large, buffed up, war prepared ogre.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So, I think it gets later on if it wants to discern if it's real or not. It can, right?
You don't have any tokens to represent the ogre?
No, I can probably drag one up. Don't have a million things around.
There you go.
Oh boy.
It's more like
Very happy ogre.
it's more like
this.
Oh. All right, let
Not
me
so
go.
happy.
Did you try putting a mustache on?
It was supposed to be a grumpy face, but mustache works as well.
Okay. So that is what you want to do? Okay. Anything else?
For the time being, I'm gonna curl and try to concentrate on the illusion and hope that this bird won't see me.
All right. So next up is the guards. And they now, seeing that you brought the bird down, are all gonna take their shots individually again.
Yay. More shots, please. No, better shots, please.
Misses. One hits. That one misses. And that one misses.
Okay, I see that some of them are shaken too.
Yeah.
That and there's a lot of people targets in the way.
Hits and as well. Okay, and Baron also gets up close. Having just kind of dodged the acid spray, he's just gonna run in right after. He casts Smite on his weapon.
Oh, Paladin.
Smite.
Yeah, maybe it's a cleric.
He this is a blinding smite.
No, it's a paladin.
Oh, and he is going to attack, and it is currently what was it on? Currently prone, right?
I don't know. I know it's grappled.
Yep.
It's incapacitated, right? I think.
No.
It's paralyzed. That's what it is.
Oh
It's
boy, here we go.
paralyzed.
My grapple
Make an attack against
cool.
the
Not that
creature, and that definitely hits.
That's a good hit.
And I have to keep way too many sheets. I have to cut this down for next time. This one, and he's going to take 8, and he is also smiting the creature. 13. And it needs to save a Constitution saving throw or be blinded.
I'm sorry, did I miss the big thing in the corner coming at us?
Oh, the
This
bird?
guy?
Oh, that.
I think I went.
Yeah, out of- Out of thin air, it seems to be one very large ogre appeared, and he looks pretty angry and pretty well equipped, trying to smash something.
I'm just gonna yell, can we just leave this city, please?
Like, oh no.
Leave them to their demise.
Every time we go into the city,
Sorry,
crap
dude.
happens.
They're sorry to have interfered with
He
your problem.
saves.
We see you have
Okay.
issues.
Okay, so all of that, it's Giya's turn.
Okay.
So
So
it looks a little bit worse for wear than when you grappled it.
I have to continue my grapple though, don't I? Like, Can I punch it in the face while I'm grappling it? Like, ooh, kind of style.
Chokehold.
Chokehold.
I am not seeing, like, it just says, like, if you have multiple, you can use your attack action to grapple. If you make multiple attacks, then it's the attack action replaces, or one of them's replaced. I don't have multiple attacks yet, but I do have a bonus action. Can I punch it as a bonus action?
You can make an unarmed strike against it.
Okay.
Punch his face out.
So that would just be like strength check, just like a straight.
No, it's
Do I get my proficiency?
it's 1d20 plus your proficiency, I think. If I'm not wrong.
Oof.
Lots of rules.
Okay.
There's so many.
Pretty tempting to let it go, I have to say. For +2.
I mean, can definitely let it go and do its thing.
I will take that. So let's do that. So roll 1d20 +2.
It is your proficiency bonus plus strength modifier
Okay.
for your attack roll.
Okay. So 21 to hit him.
I think that hits.
I need to put an unarmed thing in here so that I can
Make more unarmed attacks.
punch more things. Then is a D4 for damage.
Just had it pulled up, and I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm
No,
also
I was
just
looking
looking through
for it.
stuff there.
I think I'm looking in the wrong.
Shoot,
I
no,
should
it
look in
doesn't say.
here instead of in. Unarmed strike. Is that it? That does. Oh, roll 20. You suck.
It deals bludgeoning damage equal to 1 plus your strength modifier.
Oh, okay. So 6 then.
6.
Take a
Big
6. Take a 6.
6 to the face.
6 total fist to the face.
It does not like that.
6 face
And kind of
damage.
like kind of snaps at you a bit with its beak. Okay.
I kinda grab its beak.
Sarren. Big bird in front of you. Spewed acid at you.
Yeah, that wasn't fun.
General asshole.
Right. Dang it! Everybody's all around this thing. Let me see.
Not my choice. I'm afraid of it right now. I just didn't want to get attacked as I ran away.
Who all's in a 5-foot radius of this? It's all three of us right here, right?
Yeah.
Dang it.
And Baron.
Giya kind of sits on top of it, and
What about this guy?
yeah, I didn't want to like move it on top of stuff and just clutter up the space more. So
Okay, I guess Giya wouldn't like a moonbeam to the face.
I might actually pass out from it. I feel like
you
I
can
remember
you can
Moonbeam
probably
too.
aim it in a way that doesn't hit, I think, but I don't know how the spell's phrased anymore.
Yeah, actually, I need a 5-foot circle. Hold on. I can never make these things.
How does this go? A 5-foot radius.
Just hit it in the tail.
Oops, that was not what I wanted to do. I was just ready to draw right
I want to put it where it's still going to hit the bird, but it might hit this guy as well.
You said, 5-foot radius, you said. Okay.
Yes, it's moonbeam.
Okay.
It's a little bit more.
There you go. Like that.
Yeah.
And then
There, does that help? 5-foot radius, 40-foot high cylinder on the center point.
And it's gonna make a con save.
Yes.
And it fails.
Good.
Take that.
Take that, bird brain. Pigeon brain. Isn't that what he was called earlier? Pigeon brain. And that way that that dum-dum up there runs into it as well. And let's see, Giya.
Should I make
Boo.
Should I make
Can't
a
heal you as a
con save?
bonus.
Should I
Okay, I guess that's it. Sorry.
Should I make a con save as well?
And no, the bird is large enough so you can kind of like hit it on the tail end of it.
Okay.
So it's
Break its little bird arm. Okay. I'm good then. I was going to try to heal you, but apparently I can't do that as a bonus yet.
okay. Bird. Bird.
Burr, burr, burr.
Bird.
Is there...
Yes.
Lots of bird. It wants to get rid of whatever is on itself.
Wants to break free.
So I want to break free.
Wants to break free from the grapple.
So it's gonna roll an athletics check.
I see. That's not bad.
That
Okay. Come on, Kashcah. You can nat 20 this. Come on.
Oh wait! No, I'm raging.
Hey, so you did!
actually nat 20, that one.
Oh, you countered the nat 20 with a nat 20 with advantage.
I can net 22. Thank you very much.
So there is
That's
some
ridiculous.
intense battle going on between the birds and Giya. Through sheer force and raging willpower.
What is this in like the Godzilla movies where the rocket turtle is like fighting some kind of flying bird monster and
No, you will not be escaping today, big bird.
Yeah.
almost got away, but no.
Yeah, it did not like that.
Sorry, burp.
Not like that at all. And as Giya is not right in front of it, it's gonna use its bonus action to beak attack at Celes. It's gonna numb a bit, or tries to numb.
Hold on one moment.
I think the numbing convinces.
Yeah, it does.
Just a small nibble.
Not much I can do about that one.
Yeah. Ouch.
Oh, okay, maybe a
How
big
how
nibble.
do I keep rolling so well today? Just like how? Yeah, it's gonna deal a bit of piercing damage. Tries to hack and kind of like big bite at you.
Okay.
Okay. It does not look very happy, and it certainly does not look very well at the moment. And you kind of notice also it's fighting now that you've kind of held it down. Also gets like a little bit weaker. Giya. So
Okay.
yeah, Celes.
Celes isn't
Bit of
looking so
beak
good.
numbing.
She's going to I think second wind at this point might be a smart idea. Where is it? Second wind. Bonus action to regain hit points equal to your fighter level. That sounds fabulous. I think she's gonna second wind. 1d10. So let's do a d10 plus her fighter level of, so she's 4th level. So whatever this is plus 4. Well, she gets 5 hit points back. That's better. That is 50% more than what she had. So that uses up her bonus action. Then for her action, she's going to, well, I guess free action, drop the hand axe. Action, pick up the glaive. Action surge, attack with the glaive.
Oh boy, here we go.
Or attempt to at least. So,
Hacking commences.
and I don't know why I rolled that at... Oh, she's still afraid, so she's attacking at disadvantage. That's why.
Your bird is afraid.
Yes. Now, if it's actually considered prone, it would cancel out, and it would be the 20. But I don't know if it's prone. I know that it's grappled, which doesn't give me any bonus. So.
Right, I thought
This
it was just
is-
Luna that was afraid.
Yeah,
Celes is afraid.
it is Luna that is afraid. It's not you.
I thought I rolled lower than Luna did.
No, you rolled an 8 and Luna got a 6.
Yep. And eight save.
Oh. Oh. And in that case, it's just the 20 to hit.
Yep. And that hits.
Okay. Well, you put it back at normal. Sorry.
I have to talk players into landing their head.
Yeah.
Oh, you did.
Yeah, it's like,
No, I didn't. I swear I didn't.
good, please. I didn't.
That's good damage. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And having just numbed at you with its beak, you kind of hack into the side of its body, and the axe sinks, the glaive sinks in very nicely.
Okie doke.
Okay. Luna is still being afraid of the bigger bird.
As she should be. It's not a nice bird.
Quilby. Didn't look
Yes.
like the bird had faced or seen your distraction yet.
Yes.
So, yeah.
I'm going to keep holding onto this right now.
Okay. You're gonna move your silent image around and have it do stuff, or?
I'm kind of making it more motion, like it's roaring or ready to attack.
Okay. Sarren, you see the ogre now roaring again and being more enraged.
But it's very mute.
All right. Just gonna double check something here.
Baran the Paladin.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. The guys and the dudes are gonna shoot a round of crossbow bolts again.
Yay.
Shoot her.
That is gonna hit. It's also gonna hit. It's also gonna hit. And that is also gonna hit.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow.
That looks like a lot of edge.
Good.
See here. It's 4, 7, 13, and 15 points of damage from various bolts out of all directions, it seems.
I'm a fan of these crossbowmen, I tell you.
It is both a blessing and a curse that I'm rolling so well. Roll stuff. Baron, having seen that you've been badly hurt, Celes is gonna step around Sarren, and is gonna use lay on hands on you.
Okay.
And is is gonna give you 10 points of lay on hands.
Oops. Okay. I will gladly take this. Take this blessing to the bank.
And handing you up a bit.
Yep.
Yeah, that is unfortunately it for him. Pretty much. Okay. Giya, you get to wrestle the bird.
Yep, same
And
again.
Intense
Punch in the face.
wrestling.
Bird
Face punching.
wrestling.
Plus punching.
Bird wrestling begins.
Take another 6
Oh yeah.
turtle face.
Total damage.
You can feel after you've landed the hit, the bird has kind of like almost shrunk or like kind of tensed just as your fist hit.
Okay.
So, get the idea. It's pretty worse for wear now. Okay, Sarren.
I guess I'm gonna keep the moonbeam there and hoping that big oaf runs into it. So, guess another con save for you.
Yep. A 14.
Oh, yeah, crap, it passes. You only take half damage, so it's what? Ugh, so half that.
All right, so that's 5 points of damage, and that'll end it.
Yay!
As the moonbeam hits again, it tries to tense and resist the damage. But as the radiant energy once again pulses into it, it just falls flat, and the wings kind of fall to the ground. And the bird lies on the floor, lifeless.
Now we just have an ogre to deal with.
Yep. One enemy down, next one lining up.
And give it another punch in the face, just to...
Okay, so I guess since I didn't really do anything for an action, I can
You notice that even though you've cast Moonbeam on it, it doesn't seem that the Moonbeam has affected the ogre, like at all. He just seems to be unfazed and still going strong.
Ooh, light, bright.
Super magic
Yeah.
ogre.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yes, then I will cast Healing Word on. Guess Giya looks pretty wounded. She fell pretty hard, right?
I'm like less than half.
Didn't take 6 points, I guess.
Thank you.
And I will move over here over by Quilby.
Cool, but you also notice that the immediate threat seems
there.
to, like you can no longer hear it struggling and flapping. It just that of one desperate last kind of like faint screech as it fell to the ground. Get the idea that it's probably over. Might be over.
Hang it. Is it dead?
Just yell, okay, you can come out, it's dead. Somebody can delete the blue blob there.
Yeah, thanks the heavens, I'm dropping the the ogre.
Okay, I'm done.
And as you say that the thing is gone, or the thing is dead, the ogre vanishes out of your eyesight in the distance, Sarren.
People? Did y'all see that? Anybody? Okay.
You must have scared her
City
pretty
people.
good.
We're just like city people. Okay. I just shrug my shoulders and wait for it. I'm like, I don't know where it's at.
No fair attacking the city people for this one. This was a giant nature bird. People were probably hiding from it in the city.
Where did the ogre go? I'm just yelling. Where did the ogre go?
I think that was an illusion.
Baron says, "Is everyone all right? Seems you have been hit pretty hard."
No, there's a loose ogre in your city. Go look for it.
And he kind of approaches you and puts one hand on your shoulders and says, "But I'm sorry. That ogre wasn't real. It was just an illusion." And he also is gonna give you 5 hand layings, 5 handling lanes.
I just like kind of kneeled. I just kind of squat down. I'm like, take a deep breath. I'm like, I pull an apple out of my pouch and just start eating it. I'm like, I don't like cities anymore. I want to go home.
So Celes asks if Giya is all right.
Yeah, I'm okay.
And then she looks around
Thanks
and
for the boost.
anytime. And she looks around for Luna and she's like, Luna? And Luna's just kind of like hiding and she's like, come here. And she just keeps on walking towards Luna till finally she puts her up on her shoulder. She's like, it's okay.
Luna still seems like pretty shaken and afraid.
I'd like to kind of have a look at this giant chicken that I'm sitting on.
Fancy new feather dress.
It seems very odd, like just going through its feathers, and now that it's like lifeless or no longer just struggling and moving about, the feathers themselves seem to be hardened, like almost to the point of almost scales-like, but like pretty solid and yeah, like some pretty like solid feathers, not like you'd expect. And
oh god, sorry.
And as you kind of like move them about and try to see like where the feathers meet, kind of like the skin of the bird, it's just all just covered in blackness.
Does it resemble like any natural bird that I would know of, or?
No.
Okay. Kind of almost feel sorry for it. I think this corruption drives them crazy. Drives them mad.
And kind of the guards people kind of lower their crossbows and move up to Baron, and Baron kind of gives a look around and says, "Well, thank you for your assistance. Well, must say this is thankfully one of the smaller ones we had to deal with."
What do you mean smaller ones?
Well, from what I've heard, they can easily take up twice the size. I am. Well, as you see, it's not safe here, so
right.
We take great measures to evacuate any remaining civilians. And I must ask you to be on your guard as well if you choose to venture out so far up north, close to the Deadlands. So, you wish to remain here or head out immediately?
I'm not sure what time of day we came upon the town.
It is probably around mid-afternoon, like early to mid-afternoon.
Excuse me. I mean, as much as we could just straight up leave, I would imagine we'd probably at least want to take a short rest, which would then add another hour to our time, so I don't know. Maybe we Celes says, I'm not quite sure if we're leaving as of yet. Appreciate your assistance during battle, by the way. And she had sent Luna off because Luna did not want to come any closer, so she just said, go ahead and fly off and see if you see anything else coming in. And then
Luna takes off and seemingly goes around the perimeter, and yeah. Baron says, and like turns to his guards and says, "Good job. Well, you may resume your patrol. I'm assuming you're all unscathed." And they all like kind of nod and seemingly also express their gratitude towards you guys for having put down this threat before it could maneuver around as quickly as it probably could have.
it's a little more difficult when there's a turtle pin in your wings.
So yeah, they kind of like disperse and go about. And Baron says, "So, you intend to stay here for the coming night?"
And Celes looks to the rest of the group and says, "What do you think? Shall we stay here for the evening and leave in the morning? Or shall we press on?"
Giya nods. That's fine for me.
Okay.
I just nod. It's like, as long as there's no more ogres.
Well,
I can assure you we had lots of things here, but ogres weren't one of them yet.
Celes says, "I think we'd like to stay here within the relative safety of your of the area. Do the attacks seem to happen more often at night?"
We haven't been able to discern a pattern yet, and it doesn't look like it, unfortunately. So we could focus our attention at one times and less at the others, though that doesn't seem to be the case.
Well, all things the same, I think it would be best if we left in the morning then.
That sounds reasonable. Unfortunately, I cannot provide you with an adequate inn or related. We've set up barracks in one of the previous inns for the time being. So, if you wish, you could stay there for the night.
Thank you.
All right. And so later on in the day, Baron would show you the way to the barracks and kind of like see you to your rooms. And it's like just basically very simple. It is just large rooms for 5 to 6 beds at once. There's very like little luxury or private space. But anyway, he says, like before that, says, as current members of the Hand, I must ask you to, if you would like to help us in cleaning up a bit and trying to reinforce the city against potentially future attacks.
And excuse me, Celes.
Even if just for the afternoon.
Yeah, definitely. Celes would be totally up for that. I don't know if the rest, anybody else would.
So basically, what I'm asking is if you want to do anything special in the afternoon or during evening. If not, you can just choose to, I guess, wander about or wait in the barracks or.
Personally, just any people that I might experience or work with, I might ask them if they've run into any, teleportation magic guides by the name of Furnace, and if they have any details about it. But that would be, otherwise, just helping out wherever we can. Trying to take a long rest.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have anything special to do.
Okay. So then those, like, unless you, Quilby or Sarren, want to do anything out of the special or, I don't know.
No.
So Baron would kind of like show you around a bit and delegate you to kind of either assist the occasional patrol around the perimeter, or ask you to clean some stuff up, like the general marketplace still also needs tending to. So it's potentially safe for someone to walk around and
Without tripping over a giant dead bird corpse.
yeah. So they are.
We've got some horses. We could use them to pull it. Just drag it out of the way.
The current standing orders is to keep the town in shape to be potentially lift the evacuation at some point.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Okay.
So unless anyone wants to do anything special in the evening or before nightfall.
I might kind of like just wander around a little bit looking for local flora. But aside from that, not really. Eat,
Okay.
The things that Giya likes to do.
And you're provided with, before the evening's rest in the barracks, you're provided with a very simple food.
Cool.
And
Nice.
yeah.
Could I be able to manage
Okay.
a short rest before the evening?
You want to do a short rest before the evening?
Yes, just for
Yeah.
like an hour, just to see if I can get a few more hit points back before going on patrol.
Yep.
Okay.
Certainly can.
That'll do me.
Okay, so I said if no one wants to do anything special, night comes and the night in the barracks goes by uneventful.
Oh, thank goodness. Okay.
And you wake up in the morning. Not having the best sleep, kind of like the beds are pretty hard. But yeah. You eventually all come to consciousness and yeah.
Thank them, let them know that we're heading out to the ruins, and we hope to be back soon, as this will probably be along the return path.
And Baron says, well, if I'm stationed here during that time, I will most happily welcome you for your return.
Okay. Appreciate it if you'd pass on the information that we are at said location to the next watch, should you change. That way.
I will definitely keep a note of that.
Thank you.
I actually have to keep a note of that.
Saddle up and head out.
All right. So we are. I don't know what map we used last time.
We had Galena.
Probably this
Why am
one
I thinking of Galena? That's ore.
for Trident.
Galea. There you go. Bang.
So yeah. Didn't we then? Okay, then. So you leave Galea eastward, towards probably the shore or the cliff side of the shore.
Mhm.
Intending to find, something that resembles potentially ruins, or the ruins that were described to you. You kind of go for a day, or like get a push into the day, and it gets kind of early to mid afternoon, as you kind of travel from one kind of like small hill to the next, until you eventually see a very sharp drop off before seeing the ocean on the other side. So you figured there is probably cliffs in front of you within the next 100 feet.
No sign of any ruins?
Not here.
Okay. Does the path continue?
You've left the path quite a long time ago. There was
Okay.
only like a little bit of path, and that vanished very quickly.
If I recall
You've
properly,
just kind of traveled eastward.
the ruins were in the side of the cliff?
The way Nels described it was there were ruins that were already previously known, but it seems there have been new ruins spotted that were kind of like just like not on top of the cliff, but just kind of like on the side, kind of like pressed on the side of the cliff.
Okay.
So
So I guess just try to get some vantage points looking.
Can Luna see them?
Oh, yeah. That's a good idea. Luna, can you fly around and see if you see any ruins? Keep forgetting. Burb.
So Luna kind of flies up and kind of like flies over the cliffs to kind of get a vantage point from the other side, and doesn't see anything. So it's just falling off steep cliffs into the water.
Excuse me. If my character were to speculate a direction to follow along the coast where we might be more likely to run into the ruins, would it be north or south? Considering we went east to get to the cliffs, I'm assuming that they run north-south.
Yeah, the cliffs themselves like run like north to south, so the kind of like general shore in larger terms goes from north to south.
Gotta go north.
Okay. It always feels like I'm going uphill when I go north.
So you're traveling north?
Yeah.
Okay.
Following the cliffs, having Luna be the eyes for around the edge.
It takes you a couple more hours in travel, and you kind of push into the late afternoon. Before eventually, God, I have to drag this so far now. You see in front of you what seems to be the remains of some walls that have been overgrown and kind of broken in places, as well as seemingly the remains of some sort of like circular towers that have been definitely worse than the walls, as well as like peeking through beyond that, kind of like stone walls of houses that have been broken and just overgrown with vines and flora.
There are new ruins ahead.
New ruins.
New ruins. Luna's telling me there are ruins up ahead. Let's go.
Let's ruin those ruins. Okay. So, what do you want to do?
Move into the ruins, I guess. I'm not sure. I mean, if we're coming from the south... Oh, there's our tokens.
Yeah, you are tokened to the south.
And I guess, as much as I see that there's like some small openings here, I'd probably go to like the really big opening here. Because it's obvious for me to see from there. So I just start heading in that direction, exploring as we go. And then once inside, start looking around. Not really expecting or anticipating to be attacked or anything like that. Just still being on the guard for giant flying birds that might come and attack us, though. If that makes any sense. Like, I'm not anticipating bandits to be hiding here ready to attack us, but I am anticipating potential monsters flying above. And start exploring there.
Okay, you certainly may.
Okay. I don't know how far I can get before anything might happen, so I'm just gonna...
Yeah, I will stop you.
I'm gonna go this way.
Okay.
So you can just move around, and if anything happens, I will just stop you preemptively.
Sorry.
I jumped off the cliff. So yeah, you kind of like make your way into the ruins. From the inner side, it seems to be like more overgrown, and beyond that, you can see also seems to be the remains of a couple more buildings that have been also where even just like there's only a couple of walls just still standing, and they've all broken down, and
Is this like a giant? Like, is this a statue? And
as you get closer, you can see that it probably was once a statue that is now defaced and just broken in places. It also seems like there's been a bit of force at hand to kind of break it. There's also like one really large piece of it missing from one side. And the general perimeter around it, there's like small stands kind of like placed in a circle around it. And even those have been just overgrown with vines. They're kind of like just dangling from the statue down towards them. And there is potentially been like some sort of fountain kind of arrangement going on at some point. But now it's just like an empty basin.
can I tell if the statue is like of a human or?
Give me an
half-orc
investigation
or-
check. Going over it, it's pretty hard to discern whether it's like what race it probably was. But you think it looks human.
Can I tell like what kind of it's supposed to be like? Are they supposed to be like wearing armor, or are they wearing robes like a scholar, or like
This statue right there,
that one?
definitely wears robes.
Okay.
So you can see like on the other side there is still kind of like the carvings of rope, and on its bottom side, like where its feet are, where it's not as damaged, you can definitely see like a rope that is just trailing off, and it seems to be more scholarly than war focused.
Okay. And sorry, the platforms around the edge, or these like plinth thingies. These guys.
They look like kind of like small pillars.
Okay.
They're probably a third to a half your size. They're not very thick, so they're really kind of like small and thin. As you look around, a couple of them are kind of like broken or just cut in half. So yeah.
Okay. Cool.
I'm entering into this ruined building here, and I'm looking around for any signs of any recent life, or if anybody's passed through here, any belongings or whatnot dropped in the rubble.
You can definitely tell it was a building, like under the thin kind of like coat of a little bit of grass.
Mm-hmm.
It is definitely like rock solid stone floor. However, the building itself is in a very bad shape. So you're not really sure what's.
So the walls aren't even like my height or anything. They're just like down in the ground, like down by
partially.
Grass. Okay.
Like some corners and stuff are still standing a couple feet tall.
Okay.
But most of them are like really already probably like 2/3 to your size or smaller.
Okay. I see scratchy marks.
You see rusted gate fence bars.
Oh, now that I'm zooming in. Yes. Look like scratchy marks when you zoomed really far out.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I have Luna do like a swoop around the place, see if she sees anything of note while I continue.
Give me a perception check for Luna.
Okie doke.
And she gets advantage on perception stuffs.
Yeah. A whopping
That
10.
she really did need.
Windy coast. It's a very windy coast.
It's a very windy coast. And there is no hiding from it. So Luna takes like a perimeter around, and from one side of the cliff down here, almost like at water level, probably a couple feet above water level, there is a large kind of crack in the cliff, and what seems to be going into like a small cave.
So there seems to be some kind of small cave around here.
It looks like it.
On the face of the cliff. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Continue looking around, just kind of like going around the outside edge, poking into any of the buildings if they're even a building. Like here.
Yeah.
And the tower itself.
It is generally pretty ruined. So
is there anything actually still standing more than like a couple feet in this place besides the statue?
The building over there is still largely like the walls look largely intact.
Okay.
So that seems to have fared a little bit better, or hasn't gotten a lot of attention as the rest of it got. But yeah, other than that, it's actually just like a large hunk of stones and rubble, from what you can tell.
Okay. I guess I'll just make my way over there.
Is this building, is that one, like short as well?
It is a little bit higher. So you kind of like have to stretch a little bit, but it's not too high.
Okay.
You can begin in places.
Just kind of looking around. It looks like the one that still has, all its walls. Although perhaps I can't see like this one being broken. I don't know.
There's a lot of things going on.
Yep. Of the ones closest to me, I think this one's the most interesting because it doesn't seem to be as ruined.
Okay. Yeah, it's like its outer walls, just from comparatively to the others, the walls themselves seem still pretty solid. It seems to have broken in on up top. So there's definitely a lot of breaking down going on. But the base of the wall themselves itself still looks pretty good. So
I enter into the taller standing building and give a search around in there for any signs of recent activity or anything of interest.
Give me an investigation check.
Okay. No.
There's a lot of it's pretty similar to the rest. Whereas there's a lot of walls just kind of having broken inwards, so there's a lot of of the wall on the ground right now. If you just scrape off a bit of the greenery up top, you can definitely make out the tiled stone floor. But yeah.
I guess I meet up with the rest and say, there doesn't seem to me much left here. And this building here seems to weathered things a tiny bit better than the rest. Luna said that there is a small cave structure on the side of that cliff, and she kind of points over in this direction. So I'm not sure if it doesn't look like it's exactly easy to get to. Has anybody else found anything?
I'm gonna clamber over the walls, I guess, to this one.
Okay.
I say,
You can most easily do that.
I tell Celes about this statue.
Interesting. And she comes over and she gets a close look at it and sees if she could identify, if it's a religious symbol or what it might represent with all the pedestals.
You can make a religion check. So you're proficient in religion.
I mean, meanwhile, I'll just be scouring all the, let's say, houses for recent human activities. Maybe someone will have been camping here.
You can give me an investigation check as well. Celes, you just look, taking in the scenery around it and the kind of setup with the small pillars and stuff. You kind of get the idea that this was probably some sort of depiction of someone worth worshipping, or someone was being worshipped at this place. But you cannot really make out who it was. A lot of the features on the statue are missing. So you can make out it was probably a male figure, but that's probably the extent of it. Together with Giya, you could probably discern, it was a human male, and yeah.
Okay. Seems to have some religious significance, but I can't really determine anything more than that.
He kind of shrugs. I don't know.
Sarren,
This building is weird. I don't see a door. I'm going to kind of circle this building.
That doesn't seem to have stopped Sarren. As I see her little fuzzy butt go over.
Yeah, you just see my legs, you see my hair just kind of slide over the side.
Being inside, it is indeed just a small round tower, it seems. There is a small cage in a corner that is completely just grown over and rusted over. You do see a couple bones in there.
I'll go over and check it out and see what I can figure out.
You can also give me an investigation check if you want to.
Yay.
It seems like someone was more or less against their will being trapped there or held hostage. You're not sure if it was together with the original, if it dates back to the ruins themselves. Probably having heard from Celes that there were some kind of rusted fences or gate fences that seem to have seen more wear than this. You could probably discern that this is was comparatively more recent than the structure you're currently in. But it is bones in a rusted cage at the moment.
Okay, I'll clamber back up on top of the wall and sit there for a second, and just yell down. Well, not much to see here. Just the cages and bones, but I mean, that's it. And I will hop down.
That wouldn't be Furnace's bones, would it?
No, I think they're probably a little too old for that, but they're also still quite recent, if that makes sense.
Yes, okay. Older than his disappearance. At the very
And the
least.
cage
Okay.
is really rusted. I mean, I just went and it fell apart, kinda.
Right.
So I just shrugged my shoulders. I was like, but why would they lock somebody up in here in a tower with no walls?
to
It's
forget
pretty
them.
weird, right? Like, how come they don't have a door? I'm assuming there aren't any doors. Like,
I mean,
Going around it, you didn't see any doors.
it's pretty weird. No doors. How did they get
yeah,
in?
I mean, so maybe that was built around them.
Wow. Must be a pretty mean person.
So it says, well, it could have been that they just dropped them down in from above and the second floor is just toppled away into the sea.
I shake my head. I said, I like the idea of them building the wall around it.
Fair enough. It's quite horrible to me, but
Bricked in.
Luna, would you mind?
Still, either way, that's gotta be a really bad way to go. You just got forgotten. Like, that's horrible. Don't ever forget me.
Oh, I doubt we could, even if we tried. Just joking. Luna, would you mind flying into that small cave and see if there's anything of interest there?
That's no cave. It's a big mouth.
No!
Careful. Make sure it's not another big bird. Just kind of.
Okay, Luna kind of flies around and peeks a little bit into the cave. And yeah, kind of like gets a bit of a look inside. And seems to have been kind of like washed out. There is a couple clusters of rocks lying around, and seems to kind of like just an open side cave against the ocean side, and it seems to also continue on a bit.
Does it look like it would be, which at this point she's probably looking through Luna's eyes while she's doing this, like the tide comes in to this cave at certain points? Or does it look like it did once upon a time and does no longer?
Reverse global warming.
It could have been that rubble sealed it up or something. I don't know.
It seems to be the case. It doesn't look like it's. It has a lot of like. Yeah, I don't know how you would say that. Like a lot of like crabs and stuff. So it doesn't look like there is a lot of flooding going on with the tides.
Okay.
But it looks like it has been once, some time ago.
Well, while Celes is all in a trance, I'm gonna grab some like ivy or vines or whatever, and like I like shoot a look at Sarren, and then I like creep over to Celes, and I'm gonna like just gently place the vines on her head, and say to Sarren, "You can do all kinds of crazy shit to her while she's in this trance."
You realize that I have all my other senses. I'm just using
No, I don't think you do.
Luna's eye. Oh.
I don't think you do you? I thought you were like...
It's just the vision. It's just the eyes. I just lose the vision.
It is really just a vision.
Okay, then I would probably not say that out loud. But still go ahead, like I'm like shooting Sarren looks like.
So I would say, please get that off my head. I'm concentrating.
Sneak away. Just back up toward
she like
style.
Reaches up and just takes whatever it is off her head.
She's no fun.
Says that it appears that there is a cave that leads further in. I can't tell if it's actively accessed by the tide or not. It doesn't seem to be, but unsure.
Stuff on my half orc. That's what it is.
I'd have Luna kind of. I'd ask her to land close to this opening and see if she can just peek in further. You're just gonna start putting stuff on me.
No, go on.
I'm just gonna see if Luna can peek in a bit further down this tunnel before I call her back.
Make a perception check.
All right, Luna. What you got? Do it. 20.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you can definitely take a bit of more look into the cave. It seems to kind of like move on a bit into it, and then eventually kind of drop off into a larger cave.
There's definitely more of interest. I don't think I'm going to have Luna go further in there by herself, but it looks like it just keeps going back further. And then I just have Luna look around on the ground to see if there's any sign of footprints or people or anything like that, or if it just looks natural.
It is a very like. It looks a bit probably like dusted, I guess. But otherwise it seems like clean rock, and there is no real discernible features that someone might have gone here.
Okay. What about the opening itself? Does that look man-made?
The opening looks in places as if something was broken off. It's hard to discern if that was man-made or something else broke some stone off.
Okay. So she'd call Luna back, and then she'd say, so I think it's worth investigating. How far down the side of the cliff face is the opening?
The cliff face itself is probably like 50 to 60 feet high.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes down probably 40 feet.
Well,
give or take.
Let me check my bag of wonders.
I mean, you have like 150 something swords at your disposal, which you can probably.
We faction.
We just pile them
a
up in the
ladder
water
out
until
of-
we end up getting a big enough pile we can walk down.
There has to be something you can do with 150 swords.
I have a 50-foot length of hemp rope.
Melt them.
So she says, anybody interested in inspecting the cavern below? I've got some rope here we could probably use to get down into it.
Sure.
I turn into this like fuzzy squirrel thing, and I just kind of glide down.
Oh, a sugar glider?
Okay. Yeah, little
Nice.
flying squirrel thing. Just gonna fly down in there.
Okay. Close to the cliff face. You're kind of gliding down until you can spot what you think Celes has described before. And yeah, you end up in the what seems to be like some small cave opening against the ocean.
I'm gonna start kind of going in a little bit, like slowly, like trying to be really quiet.
Okay. What's the rest doing?
Is this a tree?
Against the thing? Yeah, that is a tree.
Does it look sturdy enough to hold people on rope?
Probably.
Let's start tying the rope to the tree.
Okay. Rope is on the tree.
Lower it down and get a really good grip on the rope, like kind of wrapping it around, say, giving it a good tug and making sure it's going to hold the weight. And then
That's not gonna save you against the climb check.
just role playing it, man.
Climb check, dun dun dun.
Do it.
And then
Yeah, I appreciate it.
she's going to try climbing down.
Yep.
And it's just athletics because I don't see climb anymore. So, right?
Yep.
Okay. So she repels.
Yep.
Can you like
That is,
climb me down while you're climbing down without?
Yeah, you definitely very nicely make your way down.
Seems
Yeah, it is
safe.
an athletics.
I will follow. Or I look at Sarren to see if she's like.
She'll have.
Oh, Sarren's already done that. Yeah, so.
She'll give the end of the rope to Luna and have Luna try and fly back up with the end of it. And she'll call up and say, "Just tie the end to yourself on the way down. It's a lot safer than what I just did. I regret it."
Oh yeah. Yep.
What she
Okay.
Okay. So who's next, or who wants next?
did.
Yeah, I'm still squeaking about or slowly looking around while they're still doing what they're
Okay,
doing.
I'll show you how it's done.
Luna, look,
Quilby,
dinner, Luna. Go get it.
are you tying the rope around yourself before you're going down, or
Nah,
okay?
it's acrobatics check.
It is an athletics check.
Athletic.
Climbing is athletics.
Sir, no flying squirrel.
Look, Luna, a squirrel. Go get it.
I mean, like thanks to the way Celes has described this and done this, I would have set the DC to 8. So that is gonna barely pass. So you kind of lose your grip at some points, that you feel like oh no, I'm fine. Okay.
I'm gonna gracefully tumble. Avoid damage.
So yeah, you
There's the problem. You gain a
Barely.
climbing speed equal to your current speed, so you were tumbling down the rope. That's why you
Oh,
had
right.
such a problem.
oh, does this give any bonuses to climbing then?
No, he can just move faster while climbing.
Yeah, you can just move
climb
faster. Yeah.
Especially down.
So yeah, you kind of like barely grab and kind of try to get down, and once you're down there, you feel like this was close.
I'm just gonna dust myself off.
Sarren, you kind of like climb a bit further into the cave.
Yeah.
So it kind of opens up into the secondary cave. You can see like on the floor, there are some puddles of water a bit. And generally just like the whole cave looks very natural though. So you can occasionally see a couple rock formations against the wall and kind of like being broken in places. Towards the end of the towards one side on the back side of the cave, you do notice that there is like another kind of like small way down, and this one looks much more handmade than the other one did. So you kind of like look at it a bit, and it's the broken pieces of natural rock you previously saw kind of give way to this more a bit like forcibly just broken into and kind of like straightened in places, kind of way into further into the cave. And this goes on until you eventually see kind of like tiled floor. And you take a peek a bit further, and you can see like the floor itself has a tiling to it, and the walls have definitely crumbled in places. They've given way in other places, so they're kind of like broken inward, and you're not really sure how stable the ceiling is. But yeah, this seems much more handmade.
Okay.
And you also just peeking around a bit, you see a couple bones.
Oh, that's reassuring. Okay, I think at that point I'm gonna run back.
Were they squirrel bones?
Yeah, I'm gonna run back and see if they're all down yet.
At which point, Giya, now everyone has made their way more or less down the cliff.
Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna do the same
Okay,
with the rope.
a rope.
Tie it to myself,
All right.
and then natural one.
I'm glad you tied the rope to
Somebody
yourself.
catch her.
Well, still,
Bye.
it depends, because typically with skill checks, you don't critically succeed or fail. But
But I mean, I have.
yeah,
Oh,
I mean-
I see what you mean. The DC was
Yeah.
8.
Um,
But I don't know.
so strictly speaking, we hadn't had the situation yet. So,
I hope that the rope will stand.
oh boy, that's a whole different question.
the Turtle Tower.
I mean, I don't know about y'all, but I'd be a little concerned seeing barrel and turtle butt flying at me off of a cliff.
Yeah, seriously, hope you all moved out of the way.
Oh boy.
You land on your back and just do a cool spin like the Ninja Turtle.
I'm just gonna land on Quilby. That'll be nice and soft. I didn't say he moved out of the way. So.
It's true.
Incoming.
Well, a natural one does critically fail, though,
Yeah.
Okay,
in my opinion.
so my in the water.
So
Well,
So
she did tie herself, though.
you get a bit like into you grab the rope and kind of like backside and kind of try climb off the cliff, and suddenly a rock like where you're standing on kind of gives, and you quickly feel as like you're losing ground on the cliffside, and along with a couple rocks that came tumbling down, you all just see like this sudden flash of Giya just falling by the opening, and probably like 10 feet or so beneath the cave opening, the rope against the tree up top suddenly pulls taut and smashes you against the side of the cliff face.
Okay.
You take 1 point of damage from that.
Oh.
And you are now kind of like dangling, hanging 10 feet below the cave opening.
I rush to the rope and hang on to it. Not sure if
I mean, I feel like that if the rope did snap, then both you and I would be in the water.
I didn't say it was a smart thing to do.
You can definitely hear the sound of waves crashing against the cliffside beneath you.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm gonna try and then climb back up.
All right.
I'm not really relying on the rope this time. I'm just gonna try and find
Then-
handholds and footholds in the cliff face and
Then try to climb.
go that way.
I will pull. No, I'm not going to pull the slack up. I'm just going to hang on to the rope where it is.
There we go.
Trying to
Yeah.
steady it.
You definitely blame it on the cliffside that just something was brought loose by either Quilby or Celes before, and so you definitely would have made it, but just the cliffside wasn't on your side.
I hear tumbling goblins set rocks free.
So with ease, you climb your way up on the cliffside and climb into this cave, this open cave side.
Okay.
So as you kind of enter, you also see the small animal that is Sarren currently, making its way back out of the well, like out of the cave side, further into the cave.
Is there any light down in there?
There is not.
Ooh, the
You
light.
have like the second cave is still kind of like dimly lit from the cave from the light shining in from the outside. But other than that, there is no torch standing around here.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Sarren, you kind of get back to the group now, I guess.
Yeah, I come running like full force out of there, and I like jump in the air, and then just turn back into myself. Yeah. I just hop and I turn back into myself. I'm like, ta-da!
Nice. That is a very neat trick.
Give a round of applause.
Right. So I see y'all made it to join. Don't get your hopes up. There's not a whole lot going on in here, but there's a chamber down here. It's very dark, so you'll need torches. And through that chamber, there's a way down, but it looks like somebody's been there. They've kind of spruced it up a little bit per se. I didn't enter the next chamber because it doesn't look very sturdy, and it may or may not cave in on us. Just be careful. So let's go.
Lead on.
Yeah, I light a torch and I hold it. I give it to whoever. I hold it out for whoever needs one. I'm like, here, whoever can't see will need this.
Celes just kind of waves her hand no.
I just smile. I was like, you'll be okay. Don't be scared. There's nothing in here that'll bite you.
I kind of. So is it a regular torch you're holding up?
Yeah, just a regular one.
Okay.
You forgot you have that fire
Yeah, but
thingy.
I'll
That
take
no
this one.
burn fire stuff.
Oh, this one's already lit. And thank you very much.
The torch of untorching.
I was like, oh yeah, I forgot you had that. Okay, let's go. So I'll head in.
Okay. So Sarren kind of leads the way into this kind of like smaller tunnel, and kind of has to duck a little bit, and
I will follow.
eventually vanishes into the second chamber.
Celes takes the rope and pulls it into the cave and takes some loose stones or whatnot and sets them on top of it so that it doesn't, get swept to the side or anything.
Hmm.
And then she proceeds to follow.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, you make your way in to where Sarren was before.
Okay, and then when we get to this entrance here, I'm like, okay, going through here, and there's another chamber, but it's like a really nice. Looks like it's definitely been chiseled out or something, but it starts getting pretty unstable, and there's some more skeleton bones.
You make for a wonderful tour guide.
It's pretty dangerous, pretty unstable, but I'm gonna go on first.
So
Watch your step in here. It's very slippery.
So yeah, as you kind of, I guess, also Quilby, or not, make your ways.
Don't worry about me.
Make your ways in. You definitely can see that this second tunnel was much more man-made, and as Sarren kind of enters into the smaller kind of almost room, like you can definitely see from the floor and kind of walls, even though some of them have like crumbled inwards, broken inwards, they are definitely man-made and not natural.
Okay.
I'm gonna slowly creep into this room.
And you can also see, God, this is like so much worse than dynamic lighting, but it works. You can see like there's one hallway that kind of has one broken inside to the north on this map. And one that isn't like as broken in to the side. And there's also one towards the bottom, but you can definitely see like the wall has really like given in and it's just kind of angled and not even fully vertical anymore.
So I turn around and face everybody and I point, danger, super danger, or maybe danger, we don't know.
What are you pointing at?
The different.
I'm pointing at like everything. There's 3 different pathways. And I'm like, that one down here, that one down here could be really dangerous. This one down here seems like it probably is dangerous. And then this one, maybe.
And I thought you were just like this in cities. Okay.
I mean, it's not a forest. Quilby, you're kind of cave dweller, right? And you're little and very
Just
light.
that what?
I hear stories of goblins being cave dwellers. Does your family come from caves?
Were your parents caves?
Or are they born in caves?
Excuse me?
It's not an insult. Most dwarves are born in caves.
Hey, there are some cave dwelling feral
Have you ever
bogs.
seen a cave goblin?
Yes, I have. Many, in
Yeah,
fact.
right here. I just point at you.
Oh.
I just laugh. I just laugh. I'm like, I was like, no, I said, but really, you're a lot smaller and lighter than we are, and these walls are really questionable. Do you think you want to check out one of these tunnels?
Celes snorts, from her laughter. And then says, yes, let's check out one of the tunnels.
I move out of the way for Quilby to come and spelunk. Proceed with the spelunking.
Spelunkster.
I just laugh. I said, oh, Quilby, your life would be so boring without us.
Imagine you'd be back in town at some lush place, playing your musical instrument, making money. But in fact, you could be out here battling strange, cursed birds that are trying to eat you alive. Huh.
Yeah, alongside Dear Woman.
Why, thank you. I cut my hair. I said, do you want me to tell you a story about a mystical deer?
Jeez. I take a peek down this hallway.
Okay. It proceedingly gets darker, and it seems to go on for quite a while.
Oh, okay. So it may not be necessarily the 15 feet that it looks like on the map.
Oh, I forgot to remove the back wall there. No, it goes on.
Okay.
So you peek down this hallway, Quilby?
Yeah.
Okay.
Gets his face munched.
Yep.
Face munchers.
You look down this hallway, and there seems to be like an angled wooden door that's kind of like halfway just hanging out of its hinges. And there seems to be a room beyond that.
You say there were some bones, like right there where I'm at?
Yep.
Can I look at those bones?
Yep.
They're from cave goblins.
I'm gonna kind of scoot them around with the end of my quarterstaff.
Yeah, you can definitely like move them around.
Are you consulting the bones?
So I'm trying to check for cave goblins.
Don't look now, but there's one behind you.
Oh, where? Quilby.
Quilby, are you going to go further down or?
Yeah, of course I'm going further down.
Okay. You can then kind of like peek into the room, and it seems to like one and the other side of the room are just kind of collapsed inwards and have kind of like shifted a bit, and like they aren't very vertical anymore. They're like almost 45-degree angled. So something has kind of like just pressed in and yeah, almost like have collapsed the room. There is a kind of like stone table in the room, kind of like a bit off into the room. That seems to have like that is almost like kind of square shaped, and seems to have like a frame around it and a deeper somewhat like inlay, not sure if that's the correct word, like in it. So it has like a small kind of like frame more or less around it and a square socket, so to speak.
An inset?
I'm gonna
Probably
I'm gonna take a closer look.
not that good with words when it comes to that. Yeah, it seems to be a kind of like stone table. I couldn't find a better asset for it, so that's what you get. It's actually just like a plain stone square table. It's not very high, so it definitely, like, from what you could see, it doesn't feel like it served the purpose of a table.
There you go.
Thanks.
Giya,
Okay.
anything down through that doorway behind you?
That's where I'm heading, funnily enough. Now
I
you
mean,
say that, Celes.
I mean, in front of you.
You kind of peek in
Sorry.
and kind of like have a peek around, and you can see that the back side of the room also kind of is partially already collapsed, and there is a lot of like stone rubble and cave in on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And the walls themselves also, like the top half of the like where you turn around, you can see like the room that is like nicely made, and the walls were kind of like a bit chiseled and smooth. That just kind of stops halfway in this room, and the top half is just broken in, and there's just more natural rock surface, so to speak.
Okay. I'm gonna squeeze through the gap.
Okay. You kind of have to duck a little bit, like the ceiling also gave a bit. So yeah. You can also peek a bit further into the room, and beyond that, there's like the wooden door is almost broken out of its hinges, and you can kind of like peek into another door, another room. There's just more doors.
But I
I'm
thought
gonna
you
run into the
could
or not run. I'm gonna go into the room where Quilby is. And
walk into more doors.
did you find anything, Quilby?
You did not just say that. Sorry.
And surprisingly, Quilby, there is a almost intact door where you're at right now, and you try to open it, and you're greeted by Giya peeking in on the far side of the room through a door. And yeah, it is a very similar image. It is again a room that's very like broken in, and yeah.
I actually wanted to check out this stuff.
It is a mixture of broken wooden debris and rocks and a smashed vase.
Okay. Kind of move it around with my foot a little bit, see if
Yep.
there's anything
Makes a lot of noise.
interesting. Not too much in here.
Yeah, affirmative.
Well, there is a pathway down that heads this way that we could go, I suppose. Got my owl eye patch.
Owl patch.
Yes.
It's like, this is all that's in here is a table?
Well, it's got to be nicer than some bones.
Maybe it's magic. Could be a magic table.
Inspect it for...
Just tap it with the end of my staff. I'm like, are you a magic table? Is there books that's going to eat us anywhere?
Is it attached to the ground? Does it hide a secret passage?
I don't know. I'm just going to start pushing the table around.
The table is solid in the floor, so it doesn't move. Now, like, not sure if I described that correctly. Seems also like it seems more like a square column of stone rising up from the bottom than a table. So
I just feel like it doesn't move. I don't know what it is. I'm just gonna like kind of pat the top of it with my hand. It's like it's solid.
seems to have fared, like, from looking at it, it is still very finely chiseled. Its surface, it's very smooth. So this seems to have fared way better than the rest of the surroundings.
I just pat the table. I just pat it. It's the finest table this side of the cave.
Jeez.
Nice.
So it says, well, unless it's got some secrets about it that might help us, I think we should probably move on and check out this other corridor. Have you tried sitting upon it?
Just sit on it.
You might need to make a sacrifice on it as well.
Sven talked very quickly.
Well, if we come across any other cave goblins besides Quilby, maybe we'll think about it.
Wow.
Did you find anything down there, Celes? And Giya's pointing down the hall.
It seems to go on for quite some ways. So I did not explore too far. I just wanted to, not attempt to split the party too much. Thank you, Windows, for checking for viruses. That's wonderful.
Top.
So she says,
Okay.
well, I'm going to proceed this way. And she starts heading off the map. Bum, bum, bum.
I'm gonna go behind her.
It's just a bottomless pit. End of the campaign.
Everyone dies. So you're all following?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
This tunnel goes on for quite a while. Occasionally it goes down a bit, so you feel a bit of descent. And then it goes on again straight. And after a while you kind of think, like, how long have we been going here? And it takes you roughly about probably the better time of an hour to 1.5 hours. And over time, the tunnel itself got, like, from this originally very, like, still man-made chiseled kind of tunnel to a more natural look that was just, like, carved out and straight going through, like, the solid rock.
Mhm.
Until
What's the name of that movie that has like the female rock climbers that go down into the caves?
I've just put it
Descent.
aside.
The
Descent?
I've just
If
Yeah, the descent.
this turns into the descent, I'm noping the heck out of here. Just saying that right now.
The creepy.
Yeah,
Creepy-
why-
I told you, cave goblins.
albino blind goblins.
Yes.
Jeez.
Until eventually it suddenly becomes very finely made again and looks much more stable and well carved than what you left from. And I forgot the door there. But there's, like, you see a wooden door at the end of this. And yeah, I think that is probably where we're going to call it today.
Wooden door.
Wooden door.
Next
actually.
episode, we run across blind goblins.
Oh God. All right. I'll just get a
Can't
big
find a
zoom.
nicer brown tone.
Sure.
There we go. Door. Fixed. Okay.
Mahogany. No. All right. Well, thanks everybody for coming out for another episode of Fate of Simarin. Tune in next time, and we'll see you then. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
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 Bye.